One Piece. This is One Piece
Horn.
chapter. What? One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1061, Future Island Egghead. Uh, Cover panel update. The Vinsmoke siblings have escaped with Niji and Yanji, Caesar Clown in tow, uh, and I guess everything is good with them. We'll probably see a little bit more in the coming weeks for what this means for the overall story. I'm sure it will mean a lot, especially considering what's coming here. But let's get into the show chapter proper. Last we left off, the Straw Hats were just sailing, talking about the news with Sabo and Buggy and all that stuff happening. When they came across this giant eddy, which is like I guess an upstream water tornado thing that seemed to have been like heading right towards them. They cut through it, and inside is the 11 Supernova Jewelry Bonnie, who is in her child form because her fruit allows her to age and de-age herself at will. Chopper got blown away, and Luffy jumped up to go catch him. So, there's just like a lot of chaos going on. They're trying not to fucking fall into the water. Meanwhile, on the ship, as the other crewmates are just like, what the hell's going on here? Down below, the Straw Hats are revealed to be directly above a giant fucking weird shark thing. It comes out, and we see a better look at it. It's a little more mechanical than it looks, like some kind of weird shark machine. And they're just trying to get away from it because this shark is attacking them. This shark robot shoots a fucking torpedo, like several torpedoes at the ship, causing it to fly outward. And everyone falls off of the ship into the water. Jinbei manages to save Luffy, Chopper, and I believe this is Jewelry Bonnie. So pretty much most of the involved Devil Fruit users, Jinbei manages to save. It's a very good move for him, and he manages to escape. This shark thing is aiming for the rest of the crew that is near the ship, and it's about to go after him, but then it is stopped by a giant fucking mech that's underwater, and it punches this shit so hard, and with a 100% true blue rocket punch.
Rocket punch!
Get punched in your face!
I feel like we never get to use that drop, so there it is. Not in a legitimate way. So yeah, the Straw Hats are underwater and they're in a bit of a bind. At that point, we cut over to the naval branch G14, where we see the kids from Punk Hazard getting treated by Tashigi. She's there as well. We meet the Vice Admiral Dahl, that is the commander of the base. And she's talking about how she's getting real sick of this Helmeppo kid. And she's like,
Oh man!
oh boy. And she's like,
Yeah, he gets one of those, right?
he gets an oh man. Oh man, my wire is weird. Okay. Better? Okay, sorry. I was cutting out for a minute. So yeah, Kobe, we see that Helmeppo and this girl named Hibari, who's a naval HQ commander herself, they're both just begging the rear admiral and I guess vice admiral of G14 to go with them to save Kobe on Pirate Island, which is also known as Fullaled, because there's just so many fucking it's just pockmarked from constant shootouts.
Yeah, you know what time they are.
Yeah, it's
This is part of the war in the Bronx.
basically. So, he's begging these Marines to go, and they're like, why would we go there? That's where Blackbeard is. He's a fucking Yonko, bro. We don't even know. Helmeppo mentions that they're actually close to Egghead, and they could take the Seraphim over there, which I guess we'll learn what that is later, but so this admiral,
You're talking about the Seraphim?
the Seraphim, yeah.
Seraphim are the little warlord kids.
Oh, really? That's what they're called?
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. All right, well, the Warlord kids.
Which makes me wonder if those if there's so they have to have multiple seraphims spread out across the world, because the ones that were, I don't think the ones that they have are the Mihawk and what's it called one, like the
Boa?
Boa Hancock one. It has to be like some other warlord seraphims.
Yeah, theoretically, they could have a Doflamingo and a Moria one. So,
Yeah, so maybe that's probably the ones they have, which would be sick.
yeah, it would be
The
sick.
return
What
of
about a crocodile
Doflamingo.
one?
Yeah, they could, in theory, have a crocodile one. They could have a Jinbei one, honestly. Now that I'm thinking about it, a Law one. They could have a bunch of them. Anybody who's ever been a warlord, they could have that.
Blackbeard one.
A Blackbeard one. Although I doubt it for some reason. In any case, they revealed that they can't even make contact with Drake at this point. So, there's nothing they can do. Kobe's fucked. he's left behind. It's not viable for them to go on to Pirate Island right now. At that point, we cut over to where Luffy's team is, which is basically him, Jinbei, and Chopper, and of course Jewelry Bonnie. They made it to shore, and they're basically talking for a little while. There's a really cool moment where like Bonnie asks Luffy about his bounty poster, and she's like, "Why? What the hell's going on? Why is your hair white and all that stuff?" And he's like, "Well, that's what I look like when I'm free." And I think that's a very interesting thing to say.
Yeah.
I'll get into it when I get into my thoughts, I guess. But I really thought that was interesting in a weird, minute kind of way. So yeah, Jinbei asks about her crew and her ship, and Jewelry's like, "I'm alone. That metal monster ate my ship." So she doesn't even have a crew with her.
Did it eat her own crew?
I don't know.
Just her ship, right?
Yeah, from what I understand, Jewelry Bonnie was in the Reverie alone. So I don't even know if her crew went with her. But in any case, Luffy's just like, "Let's go look for a restaurant because I'm starving." And Bonnie is like, "There's no fucking restaurant here. This is a government island." And she explains that they are currently on an island called Egghead, which is a place 500 years in the future, and it's the island base of Dr. Vegapunk. So yeah, pretty big idea. Jewelry Bonnie seems to have a beef with him, as we know, as far as we know. So she is, I guess she's gonna give him a piece of her mind. We then cut over back to the Straw Hats back on the Thousand Sunny. The giant robot that saved them from the mechanical shark before ascends from the water, holding them. And, Frankie and Usopp and I guess Karibu are all freaking out.
Karibu, the crew member?
Yeah, the new crew member, Karibu. They're all freaking out about this.
That's right, Brian.
They're like, "Giant robot!" And then the giant robot opens its chest to reveal someone controlling it inside. And they're like, why isn't it possible to control the urges of living creatures? Frankie says, like, "I don't know who that is, but thank you for saving us, whoever you are." And the woman inside says that the only thing I ordered the Mecha Shark to do was recon and report. Don't want it to eat anything because no valuables are left behind. So I didn't want it to attack you guys, but it just did for some reason. And she says like, "Now, just a moment, filthy pirates. Who said anything about saving you? I'm just a humble genius hired by the government. You can call me Dr. fucking Vegapunk."
Oh no. She's an op.
She's an op.
Not Dr. Vegapunk.
Yeah. So we finally meet her. The elusive Dr. Vegapunk.
Wait, Dr. Vegapunk was always a woman?
Yeah, looks like it.
Didn't he not call... What? Wasn't he a male, an old man?
I don't know. We never see. This is the first time we've seen Vegapunk.
They never referenced gender-wise, like he or they.
That's what I
or...
was thinking. When I first read this, I was like, did they ever reference like in
Could this
terms
be
of
his daughter?
pronouns? Maybe it could be. It could just be Vegapunk.
Maybe he fucked the fridge, you know?
Um,
Gave it a robot vagina and had her.
if you look at what she's wearing, it says Punk 2. So this could be just a new body for him or something.
Oh.
Well, he can transfer consciousnesses into robot bodies, so as we've seen with Kuma to a degree, so it's entirely possible. Or Vegapunk could just be a woman.
Right.
So it could be Vegapunk, like talking to them through a robot as well. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week. Not next week. One Piece is off next week, but we will find out in 2 weeks. But until then, Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1061?
RGC.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's actually my RGC as well. Brian?
Oh.
I'll RGC it.
You better, man, because we'll get into that later.
Well, that also means that the audience voted this as well as their audience really good
Harmonic Convergence.
Oh, they put respect on One Piece's name.
Yeah, I mean, Black Clover was notably absent this week, so.
Yeah, well, there's 4 other series too, so.
Yeah, I mean
3 other, I guess, technically.
Undead Unluck came in second, very close actually. So but One Piece won this week, making this a harmonic, really good chapter of the week. I'm gonna play the unified one though, because I still haven't figured out a good unified harmonic convergence, really good chapter of the week. So good for us.
Unified RGC. Unified RGC.
You don't got the harmonic convergence one? That shit was fire. Look at that, all on One Piece. That's crazy. I don't even remember the last time we had a harmonic convergence RGC. Let me see.
It's been a minute.
Oh, it was One Piece. It was One Piece again.
Hey, look
and then it was Jujutsu Kaisen. All right, so One Piece got it twice. Jujutsu Kaisen has it once.
Two very deserving ones. All right, Josh, what did you think about this?
One Piece got it before, back in February 15th of 2021.
It's pretty good record keeping, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's as far back as it goes. Okay. Anyway, okay. Thoughts. I'm just gonna give it to y'all as I start from the chapter, right? Random shit that came to my mind. I was wrong about so many things in this chapter.
We all were.
As I was actively reading it.
We all were.
Not like theory-wise or nothing. Every time I expected something, I was wrong. So, let's start off with what I thought was a fucking Sea King or whatever. What are they called? Sea Lords?
Oh, yeah.
Fish gods?
Neptunians.
Huh?
Neptunians.
Oh. Sure. Okay. I thought that was a Neptunian, and I don't know. I think lore-wise, Neptunians are super dope. It just always means it's always a big deal if you see a Neptunian. I think so. Just how my mind works with the One Piece.
It is a big deal.
But I didn't notice that it had like robotic features until they said, "Oh, it's a shark, but it looks like a robot. It's too big for that," and made it. I was like, "Really? Aren't Neptunians that big, right?"
They're usually pretty massive.
This thing is actually massive. Look how big it is compared to the ship. Yeah. I really wasn't paying attention.
It also says Vegapunk on the side of it.
Yeah, I noticed that now. I actually did notice that.
Vegapunk does work with the Marines, right?
Yes.
I actually, for Ass Whooping of the Week, I want to give at least a nomination to the shark beating, like what the shark did to the Sunny.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no contest.
I think we could do it like RGCs, where each one of us has an individual ass whooping of the week. So this is Josh's ass whooping of the week.
So that's my nomination. That brother gone. All right. What else? What else? I thought it was really cool seeing Jinbei jump into the water to save the crew. I mean, I guess it wasn't much of an issue before until it was recently. It's just brilliant to have a fishman on the crew, and with people who have devil fruits in case since they're at sea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And someone could jump in there and rescue their lives, or just help them out in the sea battle in the first place. Oh, speaking about being wrong, when the robot pulled up to fight the shark, I automatically assumed that was Frankie's robot, and I was like, "Yeah, let's
First,
go, Frankie! What you came prepared?" He was like, "Nah, I'm not letting." What
I,
happened to the last time they fought somebody in the
you know
water?
what? I think you're
Wasn't that
right.
the Kraken?
First of all, I agree with you, especially because this robot also has a star on it, and it's like Frankie's
Yes.
thing. So I was like,
And
Frankie, let's
the
go.
big forearms too. This screams Frankie.
Yeah, for sure. But what were you saying? What was your question?
I don't remember.
Damn.
Sorry.
Damn.
I guess it wasn't that serious. It was nice to see Tashigi. I remember talking quite an amount of shit about her, to be honest, because we haven't seen her in so long. I wondered if she even existed as a character. This is further evidence, stacked on a mountain of said evidence, proving that Oda, amongst other manga, Shonen Jump authors and artists, listen to this podcast. So stay in tune with us, guys. You're in the right place.
This is
Anyway, yeah. So Tashigi pulls up, and I don't care about none of that. I really don't. So I'm not going to give any
Man,
thoughts.
fuck these kids.
I really don't. It was nice to see the kids.
Man, fuck them kids.
Jewelry Bonnie. Nice fan service, Oda, and I mean it. I'm not saying that sarcastically. This was nice.
Nice.
I'm glad they didn't keep her as a child. That would have been weird. I don't like that. We've all established, right? It's just
Nope. Yeah, we have established.
not necessary. We don't need a child handmaiding.
Well,
Maiden. It's okay.
I'll say this: Oda doesn't necessarily sexualize minors like some manga do,
No,
Which is
not
nice.
necessarily. So
which is nice. Which is
yeah, I'll take that.
appreciated.
I'll take that. Yeah, pay attention, future creators.
Yeah, please.
Less of that shit. Anyways, I was surprised to see Vegapunk. I'm sure one of us called it out, right? Didn't one of us say maybe they're going to Vegapunk's island?
No, we were all like, they're going to Elbath. This is the one thing that we
Yeah.
were incredibly wrong about. We were like, they're going to Elbath.
We were all wrong.
Yeah.
And she lives on. All right, Vegapunk lives on Egg Island, right?
Egghead. Come on, man. That's the name of the chapter, dude.
Oh man, whatever. All right, Egghead Island. You got it, Chris.
Hmm.
And you got it, Oda. I think Brian was right. This thing is probably a robot. Look at the antenna coming up out of the side of its head. That's on purpose. He did that for a reason. And robots need helmets too sometimes. That's why she's holding it on the side. And notice the forearms?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Robot for sure.
I see big form. Well, there's no reason that Vegapunk could also be a cyborg like Frankie.
This is something broadcast in his words. That's my guess. I'm going with another prediction.
All right.
Let's do it.
Hey, for us, that's pretty
And I'm
ballsy.
partially male chauvinist, I guess, because I can't accept that Vegapunk's a woman. I don't care about that, really. That'd be cool. I just think when Brian said that, I was like, oh, yeah, right, probably. Why would he just be out there? Unless he's like Iron Man or something. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. What did you think, Brian? Let's stuck out to you.
It was cool to see like Vegapunk like style thing happening. It's really been a long time coming. You know, we haven't seen Vegapunk since the start, and now we finally get to see like his fucking brilliant ingenuity that we've been alluded to this entire time. Because like they've said that his like technology and his creations have been like decades ahead of its time, you know, like so we finally get to see like what inspires Frankie, and have probably a Frankie-centric arc, possibly as well. Being that they're on Vegapunk's island now. I just wonder what's gonna be like if Vegapunk's gonna be the villain of this arc. Like I don't know who's gonna be the antagonist. But we'll see. That's this was a nice little, there was some lore dump in it. It was nice to see Helmeppo and trying to hang out with trying to save his boy. Wait, are they implying that not Sabo, that what's his name?
Kobe?
Kobe is on this island?
No, they're saying that they want to go to Egghead to pick up the Seraphim to go save Kobe.
Oh.
Because they know he's on Pirate Island. They know he's on Full of Lead. So Helmeppo's saying that we should go to Egghead to pick up the Seraphim and take them.
Oh, I see. Okay, now I understand. So that could be a potential villain, just the Vegapunk and his Seraphim.
Yeah. What else you got?
It was nice to see Jinbei kind of showing his experience and his like his mettle. Like this dude was fucking calling shots when everything went to chaos. He was like, "All right, you do this, you do that. I'm gonna go save these motherfuckers." Make
Yeah, I
sure
like
everybody's
that.
safe. Like he was delegating. He was like calling shots. He was like a third in line fucking captain right there. So it was pretty nice to see.
He is number 3.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there's
And was the captain of his own crew.
Yeah, he's been a captain before, so there's that as well.
Mhm.
But I don't have much more to say. This is just a classic One Piece chapter that really just set everything up perfectly for the next few chapters ahead. So sucks that it's on break next week, because I fucking hate when they do that.
Yeah.
Always end on some flame and then fucking give us a little shove back. But I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
He's made a career of it.
Yeah. We're out
Chris,
here.
what about you?
We're out here like, oh, One Piece is going to end in 5 years. Well, not when Oda's taking breaks every other week. Come on, man. Get on it. I have a few thoughts about this that are kind of interesting. I mentioned way back when we were talking about Luffy and Bonnie on the shore of Egghead, and Bonnie noting that she noticed that Luffy's hair is white, and his different appearance in his wanted poster. And Luffy mentions that, he's like, oh, that's what I look like when I'm free. And I think that's like a very interesting thing, a very interesting take on that kind of like trope of the power within on One Piece. Like every manga has that character, the protagonist with like something inside them, some kind of deity, some kind of being. We have One for All, we have the Nine-Tailed Fox, we have the Hollow, and Luffy has Nika, but the thing about Nika is that like it's still Luffy just using the abilities of a deity. It's not like Nika resides within his body. And I think it's very interesting that Luffy is like cognizant of Gear 5, and cognizant of the general idea of Nika. He may not even know that it's Nika necessarily. He just probably sees this as a form of the Gum Gum fruit because nobody's told him
Yeah.
that it's Nika.
He called it Gear 5. That's probably all he knows.
Yeah.
This is the next.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Luffy just kind of like. It's very in line with his character to really just embrace it and just to kind of like, this is what I do now. This is just like how I feel. This is me at my best potential, I just think it's very interesting that he's like very aware of it, even though they haven't discussed it at all. Like he hasn't talked about Gear 5 with anybody. So I'd like to see more of what he thinks about Gear 5 in general and like how that affects his disposition. But I think like something about Gear 5 may have changed him a little bit inside, like giving him a little more confidence and assurance, I think that's interesting. Obviously, the reveal of Vegapunk is a big deal. Whether there's Vegapunk or not, I'm just gonna talk about her as if she is, because that's all we know. Because I don't want to be wrong later and be like, this is Vegapunk. And a woman can be Vegapunk, okay?
Sure can.
So, you know, obviously this has big implications for the future of the series. A lot of lore is actually connected to Vegapunk, so we could get a huge lore dump in this in this arc. Because Vegapunk is said to be known to know what the devil fruits really are. He may know like the secrets of how they came to be, and why are they fruits and all that stuff. The inner workings of devil fruits, so we could possibly get some big reveals on that front. We could probably get big reveals on terms of Kuma, because we know that Vegapunk works for the military, but she also seems to have like this chaotic side to her, where before Kuma went down, Kuma asked her to give his robot one last order, which was to protect the Straw Hat ship during the time skip. If she was fully on the Marine side, I don't see her doing that. So I feel like there's definitely something there to say that, like, I think Vegapunk is, I guess, leaning more towards helping the Marines, but if she sees fit, she'll do whatever she wants. But very interested
You
to see.
better relax, because Zoro will slice that robot in fucking half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much she'll actually be an enemy here. I don't think she's going to be a villain necessarily. I don't know. We know nothing about Vegapunk, so we just know that she's brilliant and she's like ahead of her years. On one front, I guess the last thing I'll say, we were wrong, I guess, about the Elbaf coming directly next. Egghead's probably going to be like a mini arc in the same way that Punk Hazard was, where, it's probably going to be a prelude to a bigger arc that comes after, maybe Elbaf, but I'm excited for this. And Brian mentioned the prospect of a Frankie-centric arc coming up. I would be so ecstatic.
Oh, man, that would be so cool.
Personally, Frankie is like, he swims between the top 5 favorite Straw Hats for me. Even like top 3 even. Whenever Frankie has like a cool moment, it's always one of my favorites. So he probably had one of my favorite fights in all of Wano. So I'm excited to see if that's a thing. I would love to see more Frankie. I feel like he's underused as a character.
Speaking of Frankie, I guess this is a sort of a rebuttal, but really just a question of a history. Who was Frankie's mentor?
Tom, the guy who built Gold Roger's ship.
Ah, okay. And Tom was acquainted with Dr. Vegapunk?
I don't think so.
What's their connection?
No, he was just from what I understand, and this is all I know about Tom, is that he was a fishman that lived in Water 7. He was just a really talented shipwright. He just built really, really nice ships. So I don't think he had any particular connection to Vegapunk. But Frankie knows who he is, being an inventor himself, and so,
Oh, I see. Since that was his mentor and he built the Sunny, that's like like Tom building Gold Roger his ship. I guess that's the that's what's going on there. Mm-hmm. Okay, Frankie's connection to Vegapunk is just that he understands. He knew that they had the blueprints there at Water 7, and that he landed in his lab right during the 2-year gap.
He landed in one of Vegapunk's, actually in Vegapunk's like hometown where he grew up, or she grew up. Sorry.
Oh, or she, or she,
they,
or it, robot,
true. But yeah, I think those are all my thoughts. Very interesting. I'm pissed off that we got to wait another week, an extra week for One Piece, but I'm glad it won. I'm glad it won Harmonic Convergence, even though I was